Very good evening to all of you. I could read your name, and I know few of you have joined, like Army Public School. I've done everyone many times, but thank you very much for coming and joining this program again. Although I'm going to talk something different. For those who are new, I must tell you my name is Dr. Sanjeev Sahani, and I look after Jindal Institute of Behavioral Sciences. I'm a founding member of establishing OP Jindal Global University, which you must have heard that we are given a status of #1 university in social sciences, and our Jindal Global Law School has been ranked 76th in the world, and we are doing many things which are at par with the world level. How I'm going to structure my talk? I'm going to talk about just for 3-4 minutes about Corona and the school education. As I know, most of the teachers are here, but there are few psychologists are also attending this program. Then I'm going to talk about the teachers, that how emotional well-being is important. Every time people are talking about mental health, emotional well-being, but today I'm going to talk about how we can even assess this emotional well-being of students in school with a very simple methods. But I'm going to spend good enough time in the general evaluation of a human behavior. Till today, we were probably thinking that we can measure a human behavior through a paper pencil test or through questionnaire, which is never been my philosophy as a psychologist. I always believe in valid, reliable, and standardized tests. So I'm going to spend good enough time that how electronically and on machines we can assess, and it's not a rocket science, simple test which all of us, we can use it. First of all, my compliments to all of you that, it's almost being exactly more than 1 year, I would say rather 13 months, that we are teaching online. And let me tell you, it is not for students, but it is very difficult for faculty members also to teach. Although we have suggested many times to the Ministry of Education and CBSE and NCERT that what should be the best practices we should have, so that it should be a win-win situation for students as well as for faculty. Number of things have been applied in terms of that how long we can have a student in front of a screen, how long could be a session or a period, and what kind of a break. Everything has been defined and it has been notified by the government of India. But let me tell you, 186 countries as per UNESCO report has still not opened their schools. Another 6 countries have closed down localized. Almost 194 countries in this world has no access to students. This constitutes 1.4 billion students who have no access to their schools, to their higher education institutes. Now, these people are at home. Everybody, when they are at home, they have a lot of mental health issues. They are struggling within themselves. They are struggling with their families, because out of sight, out of mind, when people, the children are going to school, you are not interacting with them. But these days, everybody is jumping on each other's toes and there are issues. We, as Indian parents and the teachers, we don't provide enough autonomy to students to think, to decide, to work on. I have seen parents where even if the child goes to toilet for 3 to 5 minutes, they will sit down and note down those kind of things. The pedagogical techniques, I have conducted over 318 webinars in 1 year, basically to talk about what are the various pedagogical things. But today I'm not going to talk on those things. I'm going to talk about that how it is important for us, all of us, to look after the mental health, not only of students, but also of teachers and also of parents. Now we need more support in terms of mental health from our neighbors, from our near dears, and from our teachers and from our parents. It is very, very important. I'm just going to take another 2 minutes. I love to write, as most of you must be aware of it. Let me go back to my whiteboard and share it with you. You know, we all know that whatever I am today, whatever you are today, is the reflection of 0 to 7 years of age. Whatever, if I'm aggressive, if I'm hostile, if I'm violent, if I'm very submissive, if I have a meek personality, it all goes to 0 to 7 years. And today my personality assessment, which many people will talk about, that what I am today is the definitely reflection of my either very traumatic experiences between 0 to 7 years of age, or extremely pleasurable experiences which I have experienced between 0 to 7 years of age. And that's why it becomes a pyramid. Personality, behavior is nothing but just like a pyramid, that only 10% is visible. If you could see me today, and probably you can make a judgment, oh, this session is going to be boring, interesting, useful, informative, whatever. So what we know in each other is only 10%. What is visible in a human being? Skills, knowledge, appearance, qualification, experience. This is only visible. Nobody, I've been married for 30 years now, and I know my wife only 10%. When I say 10%, it's not a thermometer. What I'm trying to say, it's an indicative figure. It could be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's why we call it an iceberg. Nobody knows beyond that. If I ask this question to my friends who are listening to me, people would say, oh, I know my husband 60%, 80%. So as people are going to say, I know my wife 70, 80, 90%. But let me tell you, nobody knows beyond around 10%. But what is 90% which we don't know in people? That is my judgments, my opinions, my beliefs, my values, my morals. Nobody knows. Nobody knows this part. Like probably few of you are probably hearing me first time. You must have heard about me. What you have heard is 10%. But I guarantee you, nobody over here, even right now, we have over 400 people with us. Nobody knows about my morals. Nobody knows about my values, my beliefs. And this, all these 90% has one word, which is called attitude. And attitude is such a killer. Attitude can make you a successful or a failure. And the beauty of this attitude builds. Attitude is, it builds between 0 to 7 years. I can understand that first 3 years of children, they spend at home. So number one, for developing a right kind of attitude, the credit or discredit goes to parents. And remaining, children spends good 5 hours in a school, and the remaining attitude, credit or discredit, goes to the teachers. Are we doing enough in terms of building a right kind of attitude in our children, in our students? Or our job is only to teach as a subject teacher what I know? I know that in my time there was a moral education, but because of so-called because we wanted to be, I'm forgetting the word, we have forgotten that. In number of the schools, in most of the schools, this moral education doesn't being taught anymore. So now the question is, are we doing it? First is, I have conducted many programs for the parents, but I have also conducted many programs for teachers. But today, through various research, we have found that how we can do the assessment of emotional well-being among students. I know that I will not be able to give it to you the entire rubric in form of the questionnaire, but those who are interested, you can write to us without any price tag. We'll be very happy to send a copy to you. Now, I'm going to show certain PPTs to you. Now, this is the second part of my talk, where I'm going to talk about what includes in a emotional well-being of children, how we can assess. That's what I'm going to talk to you for next 30 minutes. And then I'm going to move that as a human or a psychologist, how we can measure a human behavior, which is so easy, so quick, and so authentic and valid. We have 450 people. So let me take you to I'll just take you to the PPTs. Here we go. The quick ones. And here we go. Okay, so we call it an alternative assessments, in a way that I'm not talking about the functional courses which you are teaching. There is a lot of methods are available all over the world which talks about how we can assess those things. I'm talking about holistic approach or holistic development. I'm talking about life skills. Unfortunately or fortunately, CBSE talks about holistic development and life skills. But till today, I have not heard that any institute or a schools may be doing it, but there is no degree which teaches us about a holistic development or the life skills development. I will come to you little later. Those who wants to ask questions, I have set aside exactly half an hour for asking question. At that point of a time, you can raise your hand and we'll be very happy to address your queries. Now, why are teachers important in a student's life, which I just mentioned? Teachers act as an important part of the social system that impacts the development of the child. It's not that only the school, Now, this is a small portion. This is the child, and it's being surrounded by, I'm not going to go beyond, but this is surrounded by the class teacher and the peers maximum. And the third one are definitely parents. The first 0 to 7 years, we only talk about peers, we talk about class teachers, we talk about parents, which has a complete influence on children. And they act as an essential facilitators between a child and a peer. Now, what I just mentioned, I'm going to repeat it again. 0 to 7 years of age, child's, the value system is built. Not only the values, I'm talking about my beliefs. Sometimes I would say so-and-so community, so-and-so religion community, so-and-so people from the regions, demographics, from the caste. I make the judgments that this person is going to be like that. And as per the study, 2.5 years old child spends around 2.5 hours in preschool. And in general, a child spends more than 5 to 6 hours in a school. Teaching practices shape the learning process of a child. Thus, influence of teachers cannot be undermined. In fact, every time I say this, and I'm after the government of India, that most important teachers in any school should be the primary teacher rather than the TGTs and PGTs. You can ask me why and how. Because the PRTs are there for the formation of a attitude oblique behavior of a child. They are the most important, and whereas we pay them a less salary, we have asking them that maybe we will go with a lesser qualification and a lesser experience. But whereas for me, the most important thing is that the primary school teachers should be the most respectable people, and their salary should be much, much higher than the PGTs and TGTs. Now, this is more theoretical, which all of you are aware, since we have prepared this particular rubric. So I just wanted to let you know that we have put some general do's. I'm going to talk only about the do's. We need to establish a repo. We need to create a structure which every student should be fully aware that what is the structure of this course. Set rules and achieve consensus on them. The best part is talking to student in the class on the very first day, talking about the conditions, and make sure they are in sync with you. You have to be absolutely specific, give one instruction at a time. Number of times say you do this, you do this, you do this. They will not be able to understand. This is what I'm talking about for the beginners. Incentives and motivation always encourages people. There is an established theory on this. We must offer them rewards. Plan for different learning styles, audio, visual, etc., depending upon the infrastructure, and provide room for mistakes. Key components of teaching learning process is, the teacher's clarity is the main thing, which we talk about, that student learning outcomes to be specified for each lesson. Although these things are there, but on paper. I have seen I've visited over 5,000 schools in India. I have personally seen that teachers are maintaining diaries and they are writing about the learning outcomes. I'm fully aware, but how much in practical we are using it, that is the main thing. How do you map the growth of a student using different assessments? One, which is, I can do it myself. Second, I need little help. Third, I will not be able to do it. So it's important we talk about that not only the capabilities and potentialities are going to be different with different students. Now, types of assessment. In 1 year, we would suggest 3 times in a year if we can have assessments. Like the first is the diagnostic assessment, which will tell you how we are going to do it. That is before learning, before even starting the classes, we need to know the status or the capability of the students. The second is, which in the books, CBSE very rightly prescribed as a formative assessment during learning, which is for me also is very important. And the third one is summative assessment, which is after learning. Now, if I talk about life skills, and I want to understand, and I want to know from most of you, the 500 people sitting over here, I want to know from you that how much we know the objectivity of assessment of these things. One is self-awareness. Self-awareness talks about what are you feeling, which goes back to 0 to 7 years of age, which I've learned about my judgments and beliefs. And this also, self-awareness, contains a social awareness also. What are others feeling? We need to respect for others as well, which empathy covers most of this thing. How self-management also comes under self-awareness. How do you want to feel? And then another thing comes under this is relationship management. How do you want others to feel? So this covers both self-awareness and empathy. My question is, do we have a system of assessment of these things in schools? Do we have a proper record that how the child is doing in a year or in 5 years? Critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, problem solving, effective communication, interpersonal relationship, coping with stress, and coping with emotions. Now, this is not that whatever has come to our mind, we have put it over here. We did a lot of research from last good 8 years. And after doing a lot of statistical analysis and studying a lot of students and teachers, we have found these life skills in Indian schools are important, but are we making any assessment of these? One is, I know personally, one of the top schools of India, how they give it. I don't know what has happened. 1 second. 1 second. I've goofed up somewhere. I don't know why my screen is showing so many things. 1 second. I can do it. I'm sorry because I don't know how my mail will go off. I never opened it. Yes, good. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so now these things we have found, and then we have made a rubric as well, which can make an assessment easily for these things in schools. Now, life skills. Why life skills? Why it is important? I must tell you that every child who comes into the school, their mental health is very important. So as physical health, so as academic achievement, where we spend maximum time being teachers. I don't know how much time we spend into the coping strategies for stress. Once this doesn't happen, then people look for this kind of activity, substance abuse. Then after the school, employment related outcomes, where I get a job, my salary and other thing, and finally the relationship with the peer. So all this is not happening, then there is a criminal activity can also happen. I wanted to ask this question, but I know it's difficult. Ways to assess development of skills. If I ask your experience, I don't know what kind of experience you have on these things. So we have developed this rubric, which is coherent set of criteria for students' work that includes descriptions of levels of performance, quality on the criteria. And now I go straight to talk about these steps to build rubric. So first is we have created a conceptual framework, which we did it probably 7-8 years back. So we talked about which are the life skills which are important according to the research. Then we write the scoring rubric using dimensions and the performance level, how the students are doing in academic achievements, as well as the viewpoint of the teachers as well. And then the third is use the rubrics to access the performance of students and modify for final use. So formative assessment example is emotional well-being for us when they are learning in the schools. So now coming to which are the 11 components of emotional well-being. The first one is realistic orientation. How realistic I am. Am I more onto the idealistic or on a realistic side? On locus of control, I just want to know that whether I'm being internally locus of control or externally locus of control. Then I move on to the second. Do I have enough self-confidence and self-assurance? How much control I have on me. Now, when I talk about a control can be assessed looking at aggression, looking at, that whether I am disciplined in terms of like time, in terms of various other timelines, or, whatever the, I'm adhering to the laws or conditions of the schools. Empathy is that, do I talk about other people's emotions as well? Good communication and cooperation. Optimism. I'm going to talk about their behavioral indicators in the next slide. Self-awareness, analytical skills, creativity and innovation, effective relationships, and leadership qualities. Even at the primary school, there would be few students who will talk about leadership qualities. It's a very, very important component in the emotional well-being. Just to show you about the behavioral indicators, I don't know whether you'll be able to see, there's so much text on it. Now, realistic orientation, I'm just going to read out to you only the behavioral indicators. Homework submission, whether a student is consistent or a frequent or infrequent in submitting the homework submissions. Coping with changes, ready to change, ready to learn new things, time management, and work completion. Now, if I ask any teacher, I will tell you how we do it. Probably you have to do it only for 3 students in a day, and you will be able to manage 60 students easily in 1 month, easily, if you are doing it only filling it up, which is not going to take more than 2 minutes for each student. So let's talk about a realistic orientation. The second is self-confidence and self-assurance. Does the child make an eye contact with the teacher? Does the child ask questions or valid questions and volunteer for class activities? I would like to say something. I would like to organize any events, and if there is any nail biting, because this nail biting is a very important symptom in psychology for the teachers to understand that the child may not be having enough confidence, and that is why nail biting happens. So you can give marks if the person is consistent, The person is frequent, person is infrequent. Similarly, the self-control, neatness of work, fidgety, class participation, class distraction, and disciplinary complaints. All these comes into the self-control. We can send you, if you want, the brochure of these things, and if you want, you can use it. Now, empathy, I've already spoken, helpful behavior or concern towards others' emotions as well. So we need to see that whether the children have these kind of things, and if they yes, to what level they have. The next one is communication and cooperation, which is ability to ask precise questions. Although there is an overlapping, you would say, but we would like to be sure at the end, yes, we are firm on making a judgment or an assessment of the child. There are a number of things which we have put, on each other. So it's called loading, the number of factors being loaded on other parameters as well. And another one is teamwork. In optimism, reaction to failure, openness towards feedback, and persistence. And now the next are self-awareness, where their appearance is main thing which we can assess. In appearance, we can talk about whether child is aware of his or her appearance and comes to school in tidy appearance, or child is at times unaware of his or her untidy appearance, or child usually comes to class in the untidy and unkept appearance. So what I'm trying to say is that very, very simple. You can just make these kind of assessments. Then awareness of strengths, awareness of weaknesses, and future goals. Creativity and innovation, and we need to monitor that as well. Openness, imagination, and original answers, and hobbies. This four indicators, yes, which goes to creativity and innovation. Then comes analytical skills, the understanding of concepts, application of concepts, and homework content quality. Now, we have done this. So this covers our all 11 part. Now, we have this, which I'm not going to talk about what realistic orientation means over here, but now I'm going to take you to the simple assessment procedure. If you would anytime would like to make this emotional well-being rubric scoring and implementation part plan for teachers. So it's very simple. You observe and do the checklisting. You just tick things, score each behavioral indicator according to the best match between observed behavior and behavioral description provided in the topic. And then step 3 is compute the score of 11 dimensions and compute the one overall score, which can let us know about the emotional well-being of that particular child. It's very simple, In realistic orientation, we have 4 indicators. On self-confidence, we have 4. On self-control, we have 5. And these indicators, on empathy, we have only 2. On communication, we have 2. On optimism, we have 3. And then similarly, we have self-awareness, we have 4. Creativity, innovation, we have 4. Analytical skills, we have 3. Social skills, 3. Leadership, 3. Now, once we have this, and we can get to know that how we can implement plan for using emotional well-being rubric in an academic session. I've also written that how you can do it, how you can make a timetable. So Miss A or a Mr. A on week 1, Monday, only 3 kids. Tuesday 3, Wednesday 3, Thursday 3, Friday 3, Saturday, Sunday, we are not going to do it. So if you see, we will be able to complete 60 students, probably if we spend only 5 minutes to 6 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes every day, only 5 to 6 minutes every day, we can cover 60 students in a month. Now, if you have 3, spend 15 minutes. If you have 2 classes, spend 10 minutes. So whole world is talking about holistic development. Let me stop sharing this. Okay, the whole world is talking about holistic development and life skills. And early ages are more important in developing a right kind of attitude, which I just mentioned, the right kind of having a balanced judgments or beliefs or opinions or morals or values. It's very, very important. So just to give you I can talk on this for 3-4 hours, but I just wanted to give you that if any school wants to study the emotional well-being, we have developed a rubric which has established, we have established the reliability, validity, and we have standardized on Indian school children as well. If you're interested, you kindly write to us. At the end of this, I'm going to give you my email, which is an official email. You are most welcome to write to us, and we will be very happy to provide you this rubric, complete rubric and assessment techniques and how to analyze these things. So I just wanted to give you that. Now I'm coming to a very major topic, that how a human behavior can be measured. 400 years back, when somebody said that we can measure a temperature, we have developed a thermometer, people like you said it's not possible. Probably 170 years back, when somebody said that we can measure a blood pressure, people like you said it's not possible. When today, Dr. Sani is making a statement that human behavior is measurable on machines easily, which is more objective, authentic, and reliable, for you, it is little difficult. It's very simple. Now you will start hearing about it in next 3, 4, 5, 7 years. Every school is going to use these kind of things. We have also started using it for hiring, selections, recruitment, promotions, incentives, rewards, awards, and so on. What are these things? Whenever a human being, the basic understanding is, whenever a human being is going through certain mental health issues, I'm not talking about negative, it could be positive also. I'm highly elated, I'm highly euphoric, I'm enjoying everything what I do. That is also talks about my mental health condition. And on the other hand, I'm highly depressed, I'm not able to manage myself, I'm not able to manage other people relation wise. That is also called mental health. Now, on both sides, where it is going to affect me, it is going to affect on my health. When I say mental health, it's going to affect on my health. It is going to affect on my body. It is going to affect on my physiological processes. Mental health is not a separate mind, which you say, I don't know what exactly this mind means, but psychology, behavior, mentality, attitude alone has no meaning. It definitely goes with the body. Anytime when we talk about a so-called mind, we need to talk about body as well. But dhyan se sunna, this is something so important and very easy to carry out to understand the human behavior. What do I have in my body which is going to be affected with my mind, my attitude, with my aggression, with my hostility, with my violence, with my criminal attitude? मेरे शरीर में क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? The first and the most important component of my body is called heart. The first symptom you will be able to see it on your heart. The second is on your skin temperature. The third is on conductance of the skin, electrical activity in the skin. The fourth will be on my lungs. The fifth will be on my muscles. Very, very simple thing. I'm not going to talk about the medical terminology, but it's very, very simple thing where we can talk about measurement of a human behavior through how my body responds, because my behavior can be measured through my body changes. It's every time I start my talk while saying that it is the mind which governs the body. It is not the body which governs the mind. It is the mind which governs my physiological processes. It is the mind which governs my heart, my lungs, my nervous system, my muscles, my temperature. We need to understand this. You cannot separate mind and body. You cannot. Are we studying or understanding this in schools? As a psychologist, am I fully aware that how to assess the human behavior through the mind and body relationship? That is what I'm going to talk to you for next half an hour. And then we can ask me as many questions as you want. So I love writing on the whiteboard. So I'm going to write it on my screen, which will be shown on your screen. We have 501 people right now with us. So as I said, the first and the foremost is my heart, which can be measured through heart rate. If I ask you, what is the average heart rate, I guarantee you 99% people sitting here, they know that, and they will say 72 beats per minute. Okay, but it's not 72, it's a range. I want to tell you, it is basically anywhere from 70 to 75 beats per minute is normal. Why there is a range? A range talks about that if I am, listen carefully, if I'm not taking spicy food, if I'm not taking fried food, if I'm not taking alcohol regularly, if I am having hydrated most of the time, and I'm staying in a cooler place, then my average could be 70. But if I'm staying on a tropical weather and I'm having a alcohol or spicy food or fried food, then it could be 75, but we consider it both as a norm. This is what you have heard, I'm sure. Most of you, what you have not heard, that there are various types of heart rate. Without spending even a penny, we can check today, right now, what is its efficacy. Number one is talking about basal heart rate. The second one is called peak heart rate. Number third is called maximum heart rate. Fourth is called working heart rate. And there are many types, but then let's say normal heart rate. What is basal heart rate? It's only this particular thing can talk about my mental health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. I guarantee on it. Basal heart rate is when I get up early morning after having a sleep of 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, and I don't step down from the bed. And if I check at that point of a time, my heart rate, this is one of the best system to assess your heart rate or pulse rate. If you are not able, please try to listen that right now. If you can do that, Deepa Gupta, please do it. Arpita Ghosh, Ishrat Jahan, please do it. And if you are not able to hear your pulse, then you put your hand over here. Then you will be able to hear. Now listen carefully. If you are getting this heart rate less than 64, you are absolutely fit. If you are getting it between 65 to 70, you invite problems yourself. And if it is, more than 71, basal heart rate, I'm talking about early morning after having a sleep of 5 to 6 hours, then you need to contact. You definitely have certain issues. Moving on. Peak heart rate. This is the basal heart rate was that, the lowest heart rate after rest, relaxation, how much you can take it. So you get up, may I humbly request you that you kindly, measure that. Now talking about peak heart rate. If you are between the, if you are less than 40 years of age, and if you are more than 40 years, if you can take your heartbeat to between 130 and 140, if you are more than 40, between 120 to 130 for 5 minutes. If I have, I'm probably 50 years, so if I take my heartbeat to 120, but for 5 minutes, I make sure that this is more than 120. It should not fall down to 120. It gives you the same results as of the basal heart rate. So you can try. So when I talk about a peak heart rate, it is depending upon I'm doing cycling, treadmill, running, jogging, brisk walk, whatever you talk about. Take a small sports watch, which will probably cost you 100 rupees. And if you walk down, but once your heart rate, depending upon your age, it reaches to 120 or 130, can you sustain for 5 minutes on that or not? That is peak heart rate. So you can check it yourself. The maximum heart rate is how much maximum heart rate a person can take it. So it's an interesting thing. This is a formula which talks about the maximum heart rate. So it's a formula which says, 220 minus age. If I'm a 50-year-old, that means my maximum heart rate could be 170. Once it is going to go beyond 170, 171, 175, that means, goodbye, Dr. Sahani. So this is maximum heart rate. Now, working heart rate. Now, what is important? If I want to improve my performance, when I'm passionate on certain things, I have to increase my heart rate when I'm, now other ways teaching is that I could have said that, good evening, everyone. Today we will talk about heart rate. Heart rate is a very important component of the body. Heart rate beats average 72 beats per Another way, hey, are you guys have a heart? Yes. What does it do? It beats. How much it beats? You like every time I say that principals needs to give a small heart rate monitors, and in the class the teachers need to show a working heart rate which could be anywhere between 80 to 90. That shows that yes, they are passionate about it. So we are talking about a human behavior, because the way I am managing my behavior, the same way the heart rate will be managed. Like, I'm the only one who's talking to 500 people. I should have a working heart rate, and you people definitely are having a normal heart rate. Now, second important thing in this is, don't go by difficult names, easily available, easily we can test. This is called electro. The second measurement of the human behavior is through electrodermal. You'll be surprised to know that the way the medical doctors are keeping a stethoscope, the same way anyone, it's not that you have to be a medical doctor or a psychologist recognized by the Rehabilitation Council of India. No, these things you can use it for the assessment. There is no issues at home, at work, anywhere you feel like. Now, electro means electricity, dermal means skin. Our skin is live. When my skin is live, that means that there is an electrical flow, either conductance or resistance. So conductance to resistance is inversely proportional to each other. So we measure resistance. You can measure conductance also. So it's also called GSR, galvanic skin conductance. Skin, this is resistance. In the developed countries, you get it free of cost. It is just like a small pen like this. You hold it in your hand, or it's just like a scale. The scale is like this. You just put your 2 fingers on this and you will get the result. Very simple. In 7 seconds, we can talk to you about how mentally tough you are. In 7 seconds on this small portable equipment, which is available free of cost in the developed countries, because they want their people to be healthy, and they have provided free of cost these kind of things. If you know someone in the developed countries, you can ask them to provide electrodermal test or the GSR test. Even in India, it's not expensive, 300-400 rupees. You can get it, a small portable machine which can measure easily your test. Now, what does this test talks about? Once you put it on any 2 fingers, or on your hand fingers, or on your toes, so your GSR value, we measure in kilo ohms. Now, if it is between 300 kilo ohms to 500 kilo ohms, it is normal. If you get 700, it is very good. If it is 900, it is excellent. If you get 1400 plus, you are like a saint. 7 seconds, you can come to know about your mental health. I don't sell these kind of things, so don't get carried away that I'm trying to sell. No, these things are available free of cost. Many things, another 2 things which I'm going to talk to you is also, you need not to spend even a penny on these kind of things. So in 7 seconds, you can come to know the mental state. And if somebody, I can guarantee you, if someone is, let's say, a rape survivor, or if someone is a cancer survivor, they will definitely show less than 100 kilo ohms. You can easily come to know that the person is under stress. And this is a subconscious stress, not a conscious stress. So 100 kilo ohms and less, then you need to consult Dr. Sami. Moving on, which the third one is like I've done electrodermal. Now this is electromyography. So don't worry, these are very difficult jargons, but this you must have heard about EMG. What is it? What I'm talking about? When I drive a car and suddenly an animal or a child comes in front of my car, what happens at that point of time? I will do it like this. Or if I'm into 100-meter sprint and I'm running, I'd run like this. Or when you ask a student that I'm going to take you to the principal, at that point of a student is like this. They contract their muscles. Whenever we are under anxiety, whenever we are under stress, whenever we are under phobia, whenever we are under arousal, we will definitely contract your muscles. Very simple test. How much I contract? मैं सोच रहा हूं मुझे मार पिटने वाली है, मेरे से बुरा होने वाला है. My muscles will start alarming immediately. Hey, something is going to happen. Mind and body, you cannot separate. It is ridiculous when you are talking only about body. It is ridiculous when you are talking only about mind. You always have to talk about mind and body relationship if you are talking about health, if you are talking about mental health. Another thing is very important is called temperature. Now, I'm not talking about body temperature. I'm talking about skin temperature. What is the difference between a body temperature and a skin temperature? If I'm standing outside and my skin and if it is snowing outside, my skin will get cold, but my body temperature will not go down. But I'm more keen to understand the skin temperature. So the skin temperature, if anybody, when I check that, if it is between 28 degrees centigrade to 32 degrees centigrade, it is normal. If it goes less than 28 degrees centigrade, that means there is a problem of mental health. Many times we have seen, less than 25 degrees centigrade, that also tells us that something is going to happen. People with lesser skin temperature will not be able to perform even the daily routine duties. They are going to have a lot of mistakes on that. So what I'm saying is it's a simple test. And what is the purpose? Why I'm talking about this? Can I be the master of my own body? Can I regulate my own physiological processes? Can I control my own heart, my own muscles, my own lungs? Can I do that? Answer is yes. And if you are not able to do that, you will commit mistakes. You will be a failure. That's a written one. This is a new technology, but not a rocket science. Simple things. Moving on, then comes respiration. I always ask certain questions, so let me stop sharing this and ask few questions. Who's the most active person I could see? Shashi Mishra, can you unmute yourself? Yes, you can.
Hello,
Can
sir.
I ask you 3 simple questions, Ms. Mishra?
Sure. Yes.
And if you will answer these simple 3 questions, which is very simple, I will request Malini Gulati to send a box of chocolates to your home. You send your address, and it's our guarantee that we will send it to your house. My first question is, are you breathing at this moment?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Are you sure? सोच के बोलो.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Excellent answer. I'm so happy that Shashi Mishra is breathing at the moment. The second question, since when are you breathing?
Every time, every breath.
No, since when?
Breathing.
कब से आप सांस ले रही हैं?
सर आपका जैसे सेशन चालू है, आई एम ब्रीदिंग नॉर्मली. यस.
और उससे पहले सांस नहीं ले रही थी?
ले रही थी सर, लेकिन
तो मेरा क्वेश्चन
अभी आप जैसे जैसे आप बताते गए और मैं उसमें अवेयरनेस आया.
मिश्रा जी, मिस मिश्रा, आप कब से सांस ले रहे हैं?
राइट फ्रॉम माय बर्थ.
Exactly. Not birth. When you were a 14 weeks of fetus in your mother's womb, you have started respirating. Okay. Thank you very much. आपका second question भी ठीक है. यदि तीसरा question आपने ठीक बता दिया, मालिनी गुलाटी बहुत बड़ा एक चॉकलेट का डब्बा भेजेंगे, और वो भी बड़ा simple question है. Since if I allow to guess your age is 35, I always do it less. So if you are 35 years of age, so last 35 years multiplied by 12 months, multiplied by 52 weeks, multiplied by 7 days, multiplied by 24 hours, and then seconds. So you must have respirated at least 7-8 million times by now. Now my question, third and the last question is, how many times in a minute आप सांस ले रही हैं, छोड़ रही हैं, how many times in a minute you respirate or breathe?
120 minutes, sir, if I can say 120. If I can rate on.
यदि 120 होता तो आप 2 साल में मर जाती. 2 से 2.25 साल नहीं होना था. गया डब्बा गया, चॉकलेट का डब्बा गया, हमारा बच गया. I really don't know. There are 500 people right now over here. I have no idea how many people, how many of you are aware that, how many times in a minute we respirate. This is a big thing. In fact, I'm sure you guys are not watching Astha channel. Most of the so-called Babas, I've started calling them so-called because half of them are behind bars. So these so-called Babas, one thing they talk absolutely sense about respiration. So I'm going to talk about this. So we breathe ideally 16 breaths to 20 breaths per minute is normal, but lesser we do, better it is. Just to give you related with the animal kingdom, the dog respirates 35 times in a minute and dies at the age of 12, 13, 14. Snake, certain types of snakes, respirate 65 times in a minute, dies at the age of 5. Crocodiles respirate once in a minute and lives for 250 years. Turtle respirates once in 2 minutes and lives for 450 years. So although there is no research which talks about that human being's life is 100 years, I've not read that. People say it, but if I calculate that, if you do that perfectly, you will definitely going to live 100 years. But my question is not that how long you are going to live. My question is, lesser the rate, the better the mental toughness. I'm sure few of you are going to ask this question. The sports person, when they are in a practice and a trial, they respirate quite a lot. We did a study with the Indian Council of Medical Research long time back. We found that, in the Delhi students, most of the people, the children, they respirate 25 times in a minute, which takes them to obese, which takes them to the various diseases, and they are not active. So even respiration talks about this. The last thing, which is the most important thing, not unmute. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, I don't know why did I get that. Okay, Now, the point is, you must have heard about brain waves. Very interesting thing. बहुत interesting चीज बताने वाला हूं, 5 मिनट और लूंगा सिर्फ. This brain waves, we all know that we are generating these brain waves, but we don't know that Captain Christodas or Arpita Ghosh or Sanskruti Shirod or Ishrat Jahan, Nirubala, they are in which brain wave? Which brain wave is dominating when they act or when they deal with external world? Now, if I know that when I'm dealing with A, B, C or with X, Y, Z, that how I am going to deal with those kind of people is talking about regulation of my brain waves. There are 4 types of brain waves. One is called delta. Second is called theta. Third is called alpha. The fourth one is called beta. Beta is of 2 types. One is low and another is high. How do I come to know whether I'm in a delta at the moment or theta or alpha or beta? Now, there is a small machine which is available everywhere, which is called electroencephalography as a digital EEG machine. In every city, there are probably 5,000-10,000 machines. So you need not to buy, but then you can get this small test done on everyone. So today, I'm going to tell you that how human behavior is going to, we are going to summarize between 0 to 30. This is an assessment of a human behavior, which is the latest and the best and the most objective thing we can have in this world today. How do I come to know whether I'm in delta or not? So you must have seen, the waves like this. So what we see is that in one second, if this is 1 second, how much I'm generating? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is 5 hertz. So 5 hertz will go to theta. So what I'm going to do is now, 1 second. What I'm going to do is, if you are between 0 to 4 hertz, that means you are in delta. If you are doing 4.28 hertz, you are in theta. If you are doing 8.1 to 12 hertz, you are in alpha. 13 to 21 hertz, you are in beta low, and beta high talks about 22 to 30 hertz. Now, when you must have heard or we must have seen in the television or in the movie, somebody met with an accident and ambulance is taking them to the nursing home. They put the certain monitors. Instead of this, if there is a straight line, we tell them that this is dead, which is right. If there is no occipital, then it's a 0 value, means person is dead, which is right. 1 and 2 is like a brain death. 3 is like a coma. 4 is like a deep sleep. We all go, if we are happy, normal individual, the more we will spend on 4, the more mentally healthy we would be during sleep. So we do the sleep studies. We also have these machines with us, and we do that. So it depends. Like if I give Ishrat Jahan, if she spends 3 hours during her 8-hour sleep on 4 hertz, and I spend only half an hour, that means she's much more healthier than me because she goes into the deep sleep. Then 5 and 6 is a highly pleasurable euphoric state. Many people take drugs, alcohol, or number of other things to go into 5 and 6. That's a trance state. You don't think that you are living on earth. You are really enjoying your life. I'm not encouraging you to take drugs, but what I'm saying is that most of the people नशे में कुछ अपने, जिसको हम ऐब बोलते हैं, और उसको इसलिए करते हैं because they want to. Many people, when you see, they are on the pavement after taking a lot of alcohol, so they are into theta. 5 and 6 are highly pleasurable. 7 and 8 is the most performing state. You are totally focused, you are totally concentrated, you are totally vigilant, you are totally attentive. In theta, 7 and 8, when somebody is playing a football, the children, and there are 11 people on this side, 11 people on this side, and there is a football also, and when they play, there's a and somebody is calling them, they are not going to hear that. So very simple, that theta is a trance state, highly meditated state, where you are thinking of mind and body are two different entities. Alpha is a state of planning, organization, complete planning, organization, how you're going to do it. And beta is on activity. Low beta, I'm working on it, and high beta, I'm very aggressive. Now, how it is important for us. Just to give you a little background, if the car which is parked outside is dead, that is in delta. When I put an ignition, that is theta. When I plan whether I have to take it forward, reverse, whether I have to put the gears, all those kind of things is alpha. And then, how well when I put it on the first gear is low beta. When I start driving it with 200 kilometers per hour is high beta. Or when you are sleeping, you may be in delta. When you open your eyes, you are in theta. When you start planning about your day and projects, you are in alpha. When you start brushing your teeth and getting ready and start working is low beta. But when you get hyper is a high beta. Now the question is, this is there from donkey years. Everybody knows about it. But as a psychologist, how we train people. Now giving a small example, if most of you are teachers, let's say you are afraid of your principal. A PN comes and says, "Aapko principal saab bula rahe hain," and wo bade gusse mein. Now you have 4 options कि आप अपने mind को suggest करोगे whether I should enter into delta, theta, alpha, beta low or beta high. Obviously, delta में तो this condition is that कोई भी जाएगा नहीं, is like you are a deep sleep or in coma. Theta is, you will enter. You have only 4 conditions: theta, alpha, beta low, beta high. आप theta पे जाएंगे, and it's not your mistake, but it's better to say sorry and you will get rid of it. You suggested your brain to generate the theta wave, and then you are standing like this. "I'm sorry, ma'am. It's my fault, my mistake. I will not repeat it again. Please forgive me this time." Although you have not in, आपको अंदर से गुस्सा चढ़ रहा है, but it's a theta state. Alpha is where you go fully prepared. Madam, 3 years back, this was the status. 2 years back, this. Last year, this. That's why we have taken this decision. And this works like this. Management says like this. This is a graph. This is this. You go fully prepared. That's alpha. Nobody can touch me. Low beta. You immediately go and start crying, "Madam, आप हमेशा मेरे को टारगेट करते हैं. Why only me? I do the maximum work. मेरे पास पीरियड भी ज्यादा है. मैं काम भी ज्यादा करते तो." The high beta is, "I will see you later. Come outside the gate." So that is high beta. So it's your choice. What do you want to do? So these things now, it's in the market. We are working on it. We have established the norms also for this, and the time is not for that. Every selection, every recruitment, every incentives, Every bonuses are going to be measured through this. It's a very, very objective test of assessment of a human behavior. And don't think that this will be conducted by a psychologist. No, all of us. If you spend good 2 hours with me, I will train you people that how you can. That's why we have also opened, we are starting a school of psychology and counseling. This is going to be a different school because we want to train our students right from the beginning onto these assessments. We want to talk to them that how we can do a community development and how we can help people onto the mental health to enhance their performance. So that's why the new school we are starting from August 1st is the Jindal School of Psychology and Counseling. I know I've taken a lot of time and it's not easy sitting for that long. But if now it is open for discussion, the best way is you raise your hands, I will unmute you, and then you ask questions to me. I'll be very happy. Please ask as many questions as you want. I've just got a report. Negative reports. Yes, I
Yes,
can't
sir.
see. I could see our Anuj Jain.
Yes, good
Yes,
evening, sir.
yes.
So wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. It's been excellent. It's always a pleasure to have you, and wonderful work that you do. Sir, I wanted to understand with children who are extremely serious and they're not happy or they don't experience joy. What is, they're only goal oriented. Marks are everything for them. So at that time, I don't know what is beta, theta, alpha, which state of mind they are. So whatever we do, they're never happy. Their parents are there, and there could be multiple influences. So what would you suggest?
Okay, very good question. Mr. Jain, there's a lot of research has happened about the instant gratification and a delayed gratification. I don't want to tell you the experiments. It's a longitudinal studies from last good 40, 50 years, which talks about that people right in the beginning who wants to satisfy their goals while eating a chocolate or getting the good marks, instantly they want to do it. They will not perform well in the later in the age, but the people who will delay their gratification, they are going to do very well. Now, this is a marshmallow experiment, but otherwise also I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that if we parents, in fact, parents are the most difficult people in our community. Mothers in India, mothers are after marks, fathers are still not. In fact, fathers doesn't have any role to play in raising children. I'm very glad Anu Jain is there. I can get 25 people on the screen that there's only one gentleman sitting here. So thank you very much. But I want more and more Anu Jains to be there because the role of fathers in raising children is very negligible in India. And mothers, obviously, because they focus so much to their children on their academic achievements that the comparisons and to do well, they burn out. I'm using a word. They burn out when they reach to the higher education. There is a studies which says that students who are doing extremely well in the schools, most of the students, exceptions could be there. You can always give me a few examples. They will not do well in the higher education. And those who are not doing well in schools, they do well. When I say most, it's like 80-85% stories. So my only request is that as a parents, we should not put higher goals for our children. Otherwise, they will achieve it maybe, but ultimately delayed gratification will help them to grow better. Tanuja Sharma, please.
Good evening,
Tanuja?
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir, and thank you very much for the very opportunity. Uh, I really appreciate. Sorry, it's gone somewhere.
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Sorry, sir, I missed that. So it's a pleasure. Now, thing is, sir, the sort of assessment things which you have told, these make a lot of sense. But in the given situation, how far we could really apply that or how far it is applicable. For example, I'm a counseling psychologist. And though there are standardized tests when we talk about either for the career assessments or any other sort of assessment, especially the SEN education related, most of the assessments for the masses, I feel there's not much attention paid. And since your organization have been doing so much of research and doing so wonderfully well, may I request if some sort of basic but standardized test or batteries could be prescribed rather for students, age appropriate as such, whether it's for the career, whether it is for the other emotional requirements, as well as for the teachers and parents. Can there be something of the sort, some sort of program where some basic but standardized batteries or the tests are there, which can help counselors and the school administration to take care of the emotional and mental health of the overall organization? Thank you very much, sir.
Tanuja Sharma, excellent question. And, I'm with you. In fact, it's not a question, it's a suggestion. One, we need to stop using questionnaires which are based or we have borrowed or stolen from the Western culture that is not going to apply on Indian population. Although many researchers claim that it has been standardized. Now, I don't believe if you conduct those studies on 30, 50, 70, 100, 200 people, and you say it has been standardized on Indian population, I'm not going to accept it. So first of all, that with due respect to all the consulting psychologists, that we need to adopt a more holistic, objective, and a scientific approach than giving that same test, Big Five or EPQs or MMPIs or 16PF. I'm sorry, that according to me, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. It may or may not work. But if we plan a holistic, that's why I divided my session into two parts. The first was that is also indigenized to develop rubric system. But yes, Tanuja Sharma, you are right. That also might have certain subjective biases because the student which I don't like somehow, I'm not going to give because if only teacher is doing it, so there may be a subjective bias, but subjective bias would be there for 5, 7, 10, 15%, but in 80, 85%, we may get good results. But the second part, which I talked about, is, if a person comes to you for 9 to 10 minutes and you put these kind of immediately things and give the person certain critical thinking, strategic thinking, another thing, components, how my brain function, how my body reacts to it, at least I will come to know how well I'm taking it on my mental health. So we need to walk together for a pretty long time before you or I can have some, answers to these things. But at least, you have asked a question. I also supporting it. But this is a momentum, setting up of a momentum in our country for better mental health prospects. Thank you, Tanuja. Sadaf Siddiqui, please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, please.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Very good
So
evening.
I had a question. Like many a times we observe that certain children are like depressed or they appear depressed or lonely, sad. So as a teacher, when we can make out that they are sad, okay. But the moment we try to approach to the children, they try to shut down. Like they don't want to open up. And the minute we speak to the parents say that everything is fine with my child. But as a teacher, you can make out that something is not right with the child. The child is feeling depressed or sad. Now, what should we do in that case?
Miss Siddiqui, you have hit on the nail, I must tell you.
Okay.
First of all, we should understand National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bangalore. This is the first time in the history of India has ever conducted in 2016, a prevalence rate, 16-17 prevalence rate, where we have found that yes, the total people who are suffering with the mental health issues were 11%, but depression is 16%. But all over the world, it is 16%. But the first question is, how would a teacher would come to know that student is sad or depressed? We don't have any training. We don't have any mechanism to understand that. Two, related to it, Ms. Siddiqui, there is a learning disability. Again, you will be surprised to know that almost 15% of the total population in this world are suffering from learning disability. I want to ask another question, that how many of us we are trained that to assess what kind of there are 20 types of learning disability, what kind of a learning disabilities we are suffering. If I'm buying, stealing a learning disability test from abroad, which may not work over here. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when we talk about a life skills, when we talk about a holistic development, these kind of rubrics may help you. It's not the answer, to be very honest, but we have started working on this. It may help. Ganesh, I'm sorry, Alia Faisal, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Sani, for the wonderful session. I'm dialing in from Kenya, actually, and I must tell you that I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Sani in person, and he shook my hand, and just with that one handshake, he was able to tell my personality. He told me my drive, how long I can handle projects, everything with one handshake, and that was phenomenal, Dr. Sani. So
But you must understand, I shake hands only with women, not with men folks. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, I wish. So I know you, because of experience, you've come there, but were there certain things that you are looking at? And is there a way we can use that as well? Because we may not have exposure to all these machines. So is there a way we can also develop this skin contact and then be able to decipher these things as well?
Oh, yes. Let me tell you, to start with, for heart rate, you don't require any machine. Even if you require it, probably going to cost you $2 to $3. Then for skin temperature, you don't require any machine. Even if you require, it will probably require you 10 cents or 2 rupees. Third is respiration, how many times I'm doing it. So these three things, if I'm able to measure, probably these three things will give me a very clear indication about how my mental health or my mind-body relationship was working. The fourth one is very important, which is electrodermal. Again, if few people want, I can give it to you free of cost, because these are very small things. You just put your thumb or 2 fingers, you will get certain numbers. In America, in most of the nursing homes, they have put it outside in a basket, and they said you take it and keep on measuring your skin conductance. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't agree when people say these are the machines which we can't. 4 machines you don't require to spend even a penny, and we can still test that, which can let us know not only about my body, but about the mental health conditions as well. But if you people think that you need something which you can't afford it, Jindal Institute of Behavior Sciences will be very happy to assist and provide these kind of things. May I ask now, before, because few of you might have to go, I will continue taking questions, but let me write down my address, my email ID. If you want to know anything about more on this, is Dr. SP Sahani. I'm giving you my personal email ID. You are most welcome to write. I guarantee you that within 24 hours or 48 hours, I will definitely get back to you. And if you want to know more about me, just write sanjeevsahani.net. Now, I will also encourage you to, if you go to YouTube, and you type just JIBS infotainment. There are probably over 94 videos by me on JIBS infotainment. JIBS infotainment. There are 94 videos. If you subscribe every Thursday, you will get one video to your account. So these are for parents, for teachers, and for employers or employees. How to enhance your performance. So there are many things we are discussing in JIBS infotainment. So if you want to take a picture of this, you can take it. And anybody wants to write to us, we will be very happy to provide every information. So here, I'm just going to delete it. Stop sharing, coming back. Yes, Niti Jaiswal, please go ahead. Unmute yourself, yes.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. It's my pleasure to listen you very well, sir. And my question is कि जब बच्चा डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म से जब प्रैक्टिकल रूम से बाहर निकलता है या फिर रूम से बाहर निकलता है, क्योंकि लास्ट ईयर से बच्चा डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म पे ही वर्क कर रहा है, तो उनकी जो टीनेजर्स फॉर्म है या कोई भी फॉर्म है, वो जैसे 11-12 के बच्चों के बारे में मैं स्पेशली कहूंगी सर, वो उनका एक गोल रहता है कि वो कुछ करना है, मुझे कुछ किसी की भी कोई भी कंपटीशन की तैयारी करते हैं, तो दे गॉट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू हैंडल द डिजिटल फॉर्म, एनी फॉर्म इन द वे ऑफ कंप्यूटर और मोबाइल. लेकिन सर जब वो इतने टाइम मोबाइल पे या फिर कंप्यूटर पे स्पेंड करते हैं और उसके बाद जब रूम से बाहर निकलते हैं, तो उनके लिए लगता है कि ये वर्ल्ड ही नहीं है. तो सर इस स्टेज में और इस टाइम में एक पेरेंट को या एक टीचर को उनको प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ से अवेयर कराना भी हमारी ड्यूटी होती है. तो इसको कैसे गेट रिड ऑफ करे सर, कैसे उसको फेस कराए, बच्चों को फील कराए कि ये जो स्टेज है आपका प्रीसियस स्टेज है, इसमें कुछ वैल्यूज भी होने चाहिए सर. प्लीज गिव सम टाइम सम लाइंस सर.
Niti Jaiswal, I've conducted 318 programs in last 1 year, every time having with 700,000-800,000 people. You know, out of that, around 150 were only on this, that how to deal with these kind of students. Probably you have not attended that. Let me tell you, first of all, your question is very valid and important. You know, first of all, when any student, if I talk about children between the age range of 5 to 8, even if they are spending 2-3 hours in front of screen, or the children who are from, let's say, 8 to 14 spending 4 hours, and beyond 14 spending 5-6 hours, it is a very, very wrong thing. Schools have to do it. The reason being is very simple. Schools wants fees. Schools has to pay salaries to teachers, and parents are not happy. So there is another issue going on. But when any child is spending good 3, 4, 5 hours in front of screen, that child probability is so high that they will become an internet addict. Now, internet addict doesn't mean that the person becomes only addict on internet, but when addiction comes, there are a number of other problems comes, because it's a mindset about the addiction. So we have basically suggested government and schools also that first of all, for class till class 2nd or 3rd, there should not be any kind of online learning. But I understand that they have taken fees. So we need to show them. Now, very important thing, Niti Jaiswal, what you have asked, we need to show them certain stories or cartoons which can, which can tell us about the moral of the story. Those are important things. They will like that. Now,
Definitely,
when
sir.
the teachers are teaching online, it is important that they should not teach for more than 10, 12 minutes, because the span of attention, as a psychologist, I'm telling you, for every human being is between 10 to 20 minutes. So it is important we teach for 10 to 12 minutes and then give them a paper pencil test or a quiz or asking a question or asking them to give a presentation. That's why I'm always, suggest that if you can switch on your videos, the participation and the discussion will be better. It will be good for all of us.
Yes, sir.
That is
Yes.
not happening in the schools, and
Yeah.
the children are not interested. Let me also tell you, the so-called examinations happened online. Most of the students have scored good 80-90%. But when the pre-board happened, the offline, they are all came back to 40, 50, 60%. So I'm not concerned that students are cheating. I'm more concerned about the moral values of the children, which they are getting an opportunity, and with other students say, hey, tum pagal hai, tum kyun nahi? And when I am doing my examination on the WhatsApp, I'm getting the answers, and parents are happy that my children are doing very well. This is a complete eyewash. And
Definitely, sir.
again, I'm talking about good 85 to 90% students are going to suffer terribly on this.
Yes, sir.
The
Yes.
major sufferers are children. And then equally, the teachers are also quite disturbed because it's not easy. You keep calling them, they don't respond. You keep saying that, are you there? You keep telling them, switch on your video. They don't. I know that. We have done a research on it. Now,
Yes,
the
sir. Yes, sir.
question is,
Definitely.
it's a
Actually, sir,
frustration.
sir, one thing I want to ask, sir, they are having this kind of habit of reading ebooks. They are not going to open books, ebooks. They feel comfortable. No, we are studying with their mobile. We are just going through ebook, and that is not good for their eyes also, vision also. So that we generally suggested to the parents, please provide books to the
Yeah,
parents.
you're right. So, but there's too much involvement of parents are also bad, because it is becoming a dependent behavior as well.
Yes, sir.
Ganesh A. Tupe, would you
Thank
please?
you, sir. Thank you too much.
Thank you,
sir.
Niti.
Thank you.
Yes, please unmute Ganesh. Yes.
Sir, good evening, sir. Jai Hind. Sir, I am Ganesh from Aurangabad, and I am a PT teacher in the school. And in the evening, I run 2 basketball courts in the different areas. One is in a slum area, and another one is in a rich area. Actually, I face a problem there in compared to both courts. मतलब जब जो स्लम एरिया में जो कोर्ट है, तो वहाँ के जो बच्चे हैं, उनके ऊपर मैं जो भी लोड देता हूँ, जो भी मैं उनको एक्सरसाइज करने के लिए बोलता हूँ, या फिर जितने भी उनको मैं स्किल्स प्रैक्टिस देता हूँ, वो काफी अच्छे तरीके से कर लेते हैं और काफी डेडिकेशन के साथ कर लेते हैं. लेकिन जो रिच एरिया में का जो कोर्ट है, वहाँ का जो बास्केटबॉल का जो ग्राउंड के ऊपर जितने
Connection lost. Hello? Hello? Bhavya Sharma.
Very good evening, sir. It was really a pleasure to listen to you. So my question is I have come across many children who are addicted to pornography. Could you please throw a little light on that, sir? Thank you.
First of all, country to country, there are regulations on it. In India, watching a pornography is not illegal. So it is legal to do that. But yes, dissemination or sharing a pornography with other people is illegal. That's one. Second, the child pornography is illegal. Now, this is a legality. And legality at times does not go with morality and ethics. Now, may I ask you, are you a teacher, Bhavya? Unmute yourself, Bhavya.
All right. Yes, sir. I'm a counselor, sir.
Would you be kind enough in educating me on one thing, that what
Sir?
should be the right age for sex education?
Sir, I believe from the very beginning, a little information from the very beginning. I do talk to the children in Montessori and KG about the good touch or the safe touch. And I believe class 3, 4 onwards, we need to tell the children about the about sex education. We need to tell them.
Now, this is Bhavya Sharma's opinion, but there are number of, if I ask this question, everybody is going to say or give me different answers. Question is very simple. Are the schools are prepared? Are the teachers are prepared? We know which class we are going to start talking about it? Forget about it. Our parents knows that when to provide this kind of education? We are in great mess. When I'm a psychologist, a person like me, when my daughter was attaining around 10, 11 years, I told my wife that we should give her. My wife says, don't do that. You will put dirty ideas in her mind. And today she's 25. I have no idea from where she has learned good, right, bad, myths, whatever. So my question is, we need to talk. It should be a policy. And government is very smart. They don't want to talk on this because of the votes. So the question is, the people like you, me, and other people, we need to discuss that what is the right age. Second, why people indulge in pornography? One of the prime reason, when they come to know something different, unique, which they cannot indulge, they would love to see in others. This is a human tendency. Now, the younger children are involving into these kind of things. I would not say that they are doing anything wrong, but for parents, for society, it is wrong. Question is, I need to ask, what is the need, desire, impulse, or a motive for a person to watch this? Once I will understand that, I'll try to plug that. So it is important. So it's not that people are indulging, watching in these kind of pornographies, but what is the need? Because need is very simple. As per in our country, as per our customs, people are not supposed to have sex before marriage. If people are getting married at the age of 26, 27, 28, 30 years, society believes that you should be virgin. Now the question comes, it's a biological need, it's a physiological need. Suppressing of a need will come out into watching pornography, even into indulging into sexual assaults. There's one lady who were Rita Dasgupta, I think, if I'm correct. You raised your hand, and this is the last one probably. Yes, unmute yourself, Rita.
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening.
I have been attending mostly all your sessions, from being the mental well-being for teachers to measuring human behavior, because the first time I met you was at IC3 program, which I completed last year. So a very valid question which you told, which I was there in my mind, that when the students came for the pre-board exams, they could not write, and they said that they were totally blank because they were not into the habit of writing. Now what has happened is, now when again the date sheets started coming, for the exams, and now again there is a turmoil that whether there will be an exam or not. How do you think as teachers, because I'm a career counselor as well as a PRO, I'm not in direct touch with the students now at this stage. So now how are the teachers going to, give that encouragement to the students that please keep preparing yourself and have the habit of writing, because that has totally lost. This is one part of my question.
I'm an old man, so ask me one by one. So I keep forgetting questions,
Yes.
There's only one answer, Rita Dasgupta, for this. That is, teachers should encourage students to write and see it on the screen that the person is writing. The problem of writing in the last 13 months are totally dying. Students are not interested. See, I just sit in the morning listening and not writing. First of all, every teacher has to say, you have to switch on your videos. 2, you need to write. I want to see that, at the end of the register, that whether you are writing something or not. 3, give them certain assignments, handwritten. Make sure it should handwritten. It should not be typed. Handwritten one that I want 3 pages per week to reach to me on something, and make sure it's not plagiarized and blah, blah, blah. So this is the only way which we can ask them to get into back to their system if they will keep on. Because if the way you are hearing to me, listening to me, only 10%, you will remember what I said in good 2 hours. If you will switch on your videos and you listen to me, 20%, this is all research I'm talking about, 20% will be retained over there. If you listen, see, and also start writing, 40% retention could be there. So it is important that we ask these children to write and then to show it to the teachers. Although the students are pretty naughty these days, they don't listen. The teachers are having very bad time, I'm fully aware, but that's the only solution. The second question, madam.
Yes. Today in the morning, I had a counseling session for the students of class 8, those who have come from class 7. Okay. Now, what the kind of questions which they were asking, I was very much amazed, like they were asking about criminology, they were asking about space scientists, a student coming to class from class 7 to 8. Good. I'm very much happy that they are aware and they know about this. But now my question is, when the parents, before, the parents were very much, aware that, oh, I have to take care of my child during the COVID situation like this and that. But as days passed on, what I saw that, the interest has gone down. The child is left alone. So can you give us some tips to how to, that the child's creativity is there, his interest for studies is there, and it goes on, because we don't know, everything is uncertain. Give us some tips on that.
First of all, I want to make it absolutely clear that loneliness does not mean a person is alone. That's why loneliness is happening. Loneliness can happen even if you are with a bunch of people. What is loneliness? Loneliness means that how I can deal with my relation with myself, my relations with myself. And if I start dejecting, because parents say you can't do anything, my neighbor's son is doing very well, and every time I'm being compared. 3, my teacher says you are useless, so I'm not going to ask any question to you. Now, even if I'm staying at home with 20 people, I could be lonely. I also want to tell you one thing. There's a new study which has come that loneliness is as bad, as fatal as smoking 15 cigarettes in a day. As fatal as smoking 15 cigarettes in a day. Now, already India is the capital of suicides. And all of you know better, most of these students commit suicides in the month of February because they think they will not be able to perform well in the board exams. We all know that. These are the statistics are very clear. This particular corona has further created such a big issue of dejection. Bless me. It's not going to reach you. Don't worry. It's online. These days, when you sneeze, people think that, oh, it happened. I went to one of the restaurants. I just sneezed and 3-4 people got up and they left. So, this is the time when we need to provide so much care to our students and children. But care doesn't mean giving them a good food. Care doesn't mean that, if the child is saying that I don't want to study, you don't study. Care means we need to talk with children. We need to have a communication. We need to have a dialogue. That is the only thing which you can promote. And here, the defaulters are only one person, that is parents. Parents saying, ये 6 घंटे स्कूल में पढ़ लिया, हो गया. उसके बाद father तो is terrible people, which I've just mentioned. They are not spending any time. But there are good people like Satish Udayawal. So, so the point is the children are feeling very dejected. It's not children's fault. We need to create an environment where a complete social support system has to be there. Okay. Is it necessary? You have to ask question, Chandak. I give you respect. Go ahead.
Thank you, Sanjeev sir.
The last question, please.
Yes, sir. The question is very simple. When we teachers tell students very softly, they won't pay attention. When we speak loudly, strongly, they listen, reply attentively, they focus. But teacher has to shoot their BP. Parents has to shoot their BP. So is it okay?
You have answered my question. Not question, rather you are substantiating my point when I said teachers have to have a higher heart rate. Like, I'm not speaking normal. I'm also I'm increasing my heart rate to be more passionate what I'm talking about. So you need to do that. The another thing is, to ask your students to behave well. Koi nahi sunega. So my brain waves, my body language has to be that, hey, I want business. I'm not an easy person to go with you. So you have to be tough. Unfortunately, because I've taught in United States for many years, and there the system is different because the system comes of rights and other things. Here, right from the beginning, we used to have a gurukuls and so on. Here we have to be tough. Like in my university, generally I tell them that your parents are spending a lot of money, so you be little serious. Oh, nobody's serious because unless people, like in Western country, people earn or take a loan and then they study. So there is definitely some stakes in it. Hey, whereas we are providing the best of the laptops or desktops to them so that my child would study, and child is not caring for it. Anyway, thank you very much. And it's been always a pleasure to be with all of you. One of my very dear friend, I want to acknowledge the presence of Dobronica Sheknova. She's a very great criminologist and a very renowned professor of Bulgaria. And most of people, you are here, you heard me, but even I want to learn and develop myself along with you. Anytime you have any kind of a query, any kind of suggestions, please do write to me, and I will be very happy to interact with all of you. Thank you very much. So nice of you. And I would like to put on record the outstanding contribution of Miss Malini Gulati, who could manage to get over 500 people together. So it's not an easy job. So thank you, Malini, for this wonderful show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sani, for that very insightful session. And I'm sure all of us here have a lot of takeaways to take away from here, valuable things to take away from here. I will also request each one of you to please fill up the feedback form that has been shared with you on the chat, as well as your email IDs. And this is Malini Gulati from Jindal School of Psychology and Counseling. We hope to remain in touch with you for long. Thank you very much for attending the seminar today, and we will have you more with us for more such seminars again. Thank you so much.